And so she just began to massage his neck and shoulders, and he sort of gave a couple gasps for breath and died. Very unexpected, and the doctor said it was a heart attack. He was 54 years old, just a little bit older than I am. Man, that doesn't seem possible. I'm over 50 years old. I used to remembered well when Daddy was 34. I mean, I don't know why that age stuck out so, but I remember well when he was 34. And man, I thought that was old. And but now, actually, I feel better now. I get tired a little bit easier, but overall, I feel better now than I've ever felt before in my life. But when I hear of these things, these people, been quite a few of them here in Greenville in the last 3 or 4 years. It makes you do some thinking. And I try my best just to try to keep my life relaxed, and whenever I do have an opportunity to just simply do nothing or to relax, I try to do it, because I think that I think a person needs to, well, he must do it, because if some of these things get too deep inside of you, well, I think they can cause some problems, and I try to be careful how I eat. We eat a lot of salads and things, and so we've been, I thank the Lord, and I just have no complaint. He's been real good as far as my health goes, but I realize that I'm getting up each day is slipping by, and it seems like the days and the weeks and the years go by so fast. It hardly seems, just almost can't hardly believe it, how they're piling up. But it makes us realize that what we're going to do and how we're going to live, we're going to have to do it now. We can't wait till tomorrow to do it. But the Lord has been good, keeps our life real full. I don't know whether you remember or not, I was talking about Clyde Tuck. Bunny had dated him back a number of years ago, when Bunny was dating, and he was the one that was assistant pastor of Tabernacle after he graduated from Bob Jones, and he was the one that you may have heard us talk about that was killed one night. A car, he had some car trouble, and he pulled his car off the side of the road, and he was crossing the road to get some help, somebody to see what was wrong with his car, and he stopped in the medium. It's in the middle of the road. In the middle, it was over in Wade Hampton Boulevard, the big super highway, and he was standing in the medium where there wasn't no cars supposed to be, waiting till the car passed going the other direction. And another car came with his lights out. It was at night, came with his lights out, and came right down the medium, was traveling down the medium, the middle strip, and hit him and killed him. It was quite a shock to everybody. Clyde was a real fine fella, and his father, it really was a blow. His father was getting up in years, and his father was fairly good health up till that time. I believe that was 2 years ago, if I remember correctly. It may have been, I believe it was 2 years ago. And but anyway, his father's health just went down after that. It seemed like you could see his father just failing. His dad apparently took it pretty hard, and he died. I've forgotten. I think it was Monday night or Monday sometime, and the funeral's going to be this afternoon at 4 o'clock. I don't know for sure whether I'll be able to get there or not. He was about 78, as I recall. But life keeps on going, and the young ones have to take on the responsibilities, it seems. But while I'm living and while I'm able, I want to do what I can, and to try to, like Paul Heyman one time said, try to keep the ball rolling for God. It's almost unbelievable the way things have grown around Greenville. There's just so much building going on around here. And I'm driving out through an area right now that just a couple of years ago was almost out in the woods, and it's just solid industrial, just businesses and offices, and it just seems like people are moving. I don't know where they're all coming from. Of course, there's a lot of new ones, a lot of people, their children are growing up, but there's an awful lot of people have been moving into Greenville with a new industry. It's a little hard to quite understand. but they claim that this area is the fastest growing area in the entire United States. The area from about Atlanta up through to Charlotte and Greensboro. They claim that by the turn of the century, if the Lord doesn't come back, which I believe He will, but by the turn of the century, that it's going to be a solid industrial area from Atlanta to Charlotte. And boy, it's doing that fast, because heading from Greenville to down toward Anderson and Atlanta, on the interstate and all through there, just miles and miles of one industry after another, and you almost wonder where they've all come from. And then going the other direction, that's going south, going the other direction from Greenville to Spartanburg, up towards Charlotte. I go up there occasionally because I've got some postage meters in Charlotte. And going up that way, it's almost unbelievable, because you get miles and miles out of Greenville, and it's just one business right after the other. And as soon as you get within about 25 miles of Charlotte, again, it's just solid business. And it makes your head swim, because you wonder where in the world where all this stuff is coming from. And one of these times, God's going to have to put an end to it, because it's going to get beyond the capability of man. It's amazing what man has already done, really. And it's hard to believe sometimes when you realize what's going on. Now I'm a little bit more farther out of the business area and getting out a little bit more into the residential area. The highway I'm on right now is going from Greenville toward Columbia. It's called Highway 276. It goes from Greenville to Columbia to Charleston. I remember well when I was with Sears in the heating business that this used to be a little narrow highway, just a little 2-lane highway going to Lawrence and Clinton. I sold a lot of heating systems down in that area. But now it's a big 4-lane with a big medium green grass strip in the middle of it. And it's almost overloaded all now, and they're going to have to do something else to widen it or do something to take care of the traffic. But Daddy, you can be thankful in many ways that you're not involved in some of this rat race that's going on. And yet most of these people are miserable, they're unhappy, because there's only one thing that really does satisfy, and that's the Lord, because the Lord's the only thing that really can satisfy. And I meet people that have the Lord and don't have much of this world's goods, and they're happy. They're content if they know the truth of the grace of God. On the other hand, the man seems like he's involved in a lot of things, and yet doesn't know the truth of the grace of God in his heart. There's a real turmoil, a real dissatisfaction going on inside him. So I so thank the Lord that I've learned to know the Lord, and I appreciate you, Daddy and Mother, for giving me a basic foundation, even though some of it may have been overly religious. The basic foundation of faith in God is worth more than anything you could have ever given us children. And I many, many times on my knees, I do thank the Lord, and I appreciate you, and I love you. And I hope that in some way I've been able to pass some of this on to our children, and I hope they'll pass it on to their children, and I'm sure at least some of them will, as I see their families beginning to grow up. Well, I hope I'm not boring you with this, because driving out here on the highway, I don't want to waste the time, and so I might as well be talking to you as to just be driving along, maybe listen to the radio, and I'm enjoying it. I hope you folks will enjoy it also. And you can share this with any of the others, with what if you want to. If they're interested, they may not even be interested. And I hope some of them will talk on the tape as they visit with you, and you can send it back to us. And that way we can correspond and hear each other's voice and so forth. Well, I'm going to stop just for a few moments, and maybe I can think of some other things that you might be interested in. Mother, I know you would thoroughly enjoy right now some of the scenery that I'm looking at. It is really beautiful. It's just amazing the flowers and this time of the year here in the South. The flowers are beautiful. We're thinking seriously about, as soon as we could afford it, it just takes some money to do things, but as soon as we could afford it, we'd like to build a greenhouse on the east side of our house, over that big double window that's in our dining room, and use that side door to go into the greenhouse and build it facing east, where we can go have it about 12 feet wide out in the house, and it'd be approximately 20 feet long, and the one side would be attached to the house. We've been looking at pictures and looking at different types of these units, and Thelma just loves flowers. She somehow is real good at flowers, and I guess I wouldn't take the interest in flowers. It wouldn't be for her, but somehow to watch them bloom and watch them grow and watch them develop, it somehow it makes you thankful for the Lord of the beauty that He gives for man to enjoy. And this morning I couldn't help but think, as I was driving along here looking at some of the flowers, how unusually attractive they are this time of the year. And we've had enough of cool weather to hold the flowers, and yet we've had enough warm weather to bring them out. So it's been a rather unusual spring that the flowers have lasted longer. The spring flowers have lasted longer than they usually do. And then another thing, I don't know whether you've heard over the radio or anything, but we have had several very cool mornings, or nights rather, that has been almost dangerous to the flowers. It didn't seem to hurt the flowers. It hurt a few of the boxwoods, and it's practically ruined the peach crop. They claim that most of the peaches are ruined. There'll be very few peaches coming out of South Carolina because they were in full bloom, and we had 2 mornings that got down to about 28. And of course, when that happens and they're in full bloom, why, it'll catch the peach crop and just burst the blooms, they claim, and the farmers are real discouraged about it because they were looking forward to a good peach crop this year. But that's where life is, and somehow it's getting a little more cloudy all the time. I believe it's going to rain before the day's over. Now, I'm about 8 miles out of Greenville, and there's a lot of industrial area, big plants where I'm at right now. Texas, I just now passed Texas. I don't really remember there, and that's where Everett had worked back when Everett and Nancy were first married. That plant has grown. They're the ones that make this cleaner. They call it cleaner in a barrel, I believe they call it. And they make quite a few different household cleaning things. And I'm almost where I'm going to go. I'm not quite sure where to turn off, so I'll have to find out and keep my eye on where I'm going, because I'm on this interstate, and if you miss your turn, then you got to go 4, 5, 6 miles more before you can get to the place to where you turn off. So I'm going to stop right now, and I'm almost where I'm supposed to turn off, I believe. I see the plant where I'm going. So I'll turn off here, and then maybe I'll talk with you a little bit more when on my way coming back, or Thelma will talk with you after we pick up from the doctor's office. Well, I'm back out again, and it's about 10:15. When I came off the interstate, as I mentioned to you when I came in, I had to come back over top of the interstate in order to get in here where I was going. It's the first time I've ever been in this plant. I got to figure my way out right now. I just started up the car out of the parking lot and just now pulled out of the parking lot. And it's sort of a tangled up way here to get out of here. But I believe I see my way here right now. Now I'm going back out on the interstate, going back in toward Greenville. Sometimes if you get going the wrong direction on some of these interstates, you can really get tangled up. But I did pretty well on getting out. Well, didn't quite get the order on the partial post on the UPS register. That's United Partials register. But but I think I will. The man has a couple questions that he's going to have to take up with UPS before he'll give me the order, and he also wants to look at Pitney Bowes. But we have a little better deal, I feel, on this than Pitney Bowes does. So I believe I will get the order, but a lot of times there's a lot of finagling around before you can get it, and this won't be a big sale, but we have to take the little ones also. We'd have approximately about $110 profit in it if I get the sale. And of course, in selling it, doing an awful lot by faith, not being sure how you're going to come out. But it still hasn't been raining yet. Seems like it's getting cloudier all the time. So it's sultry this morning. I have to have the air conditioning on, and yet it isn't hardly warm enough to have it on, but it does make it feel a lot better in the car with it on. Now I've got to go back and get Thelma, and then she's got to go to the grocery store, and then I've got to take her back home to the children. So I hope I'm not boring you with all this, so you'll just have to tell me if you're not interested in listening to it. And I won't tell you quite as much, but I thought it'd be an opportunity to sort of follow me for a day or so. This is what we intended to do when Happy, we went down over Thanksgiving to Florida, but I started talking with you before we got on the airplane. By the time we got on the airplane, the tape recorder wasn't working, and the tape had hung up in it, and so we weren't able to. Maybe we'll be able to talk to you when we go out to California to visit Laddie, and you can sort of follow our trip out there if you're interested in it. And now I'm back in a little town called Malden, which I just passed back there again, the Texas plant, as I mentioned to you on the way down. And they're right on the edge of this little town called Malden, which wasn't much of a place when we first came to Greenville, but now it's quite a sizable place, and it's growing fast. There's a lot of new factories and new things here. But now it's here, and it's growing. If everybody was growing in the Lord and growing spiritually as much as that things seem to grow materially and physically, we'd have a fine civilization. But I guess that's too much to expect, because people are not interested in spiritual things until they really do find out what they're missing, find out what the Lord does have, what He has. I'm going to be running pretty close to schedule sometimes when I try to do something like this, and tie it in with having Thelma do something where I have to keep her waiting quite a while. But I told her I didn't think it'd be over an hour, and so it's right now 20 minutes after 10, and it was 9:30 when I left her off to the doctor's office, so I've got about 10 minutes yet to go before I get back, so that's going to put me right on time, about an hour. And she said that she had some things to read if it wasn't much over an hour. If it got much over an hour, then she was going to get a little bit restless, because she had a lot of other things needed to be done. So I'm always glad when I can fit things in the schedule and get them to where there's not to where we don't keep each other waiting too long. I'm going to stop right now until I get back, unless something else comes to my mind, and then Thelma talk with you a little bit. She can tell you a little bit what the doctor did and said. And before the tape runs out, I see we're getting down toward the end of the tape. Well, now I'm just about back to the doctor's office, and it's right on the dot, 10:30, so that was an hour. And I'll be picking Thelma up in just a moment. And then when she gets in, we'll see whether she no doubt has some other things to tell you before the tape runs out. It still isn't raining, but it's getting awfully cloudy, so I imagine it's going to be raining before the day's over. I'm just about ready to go over Main Street right now, and the doctor's office is just a couple blocks near the side of Main Street, so I'll be stopping and picking her up.
my husband asked me if I had any more to tell you, and I really didn't. He said, well, tell them what they did to your neck. This winter I have felt better than I ever had for a long, long time. And since we came to Greenville, I never went to a chiropractor, and I lived with one when Maurice was dating me. So it was his idea, because every now and then when he had trouble with his back, he'd come to this doctor, and then he said, well, why don't you go see him, because I did have a lot of problems with my ear in the last 30 years. And about 6 weeks ago, it was a pretty day, and I had little house shoes on, little bedroom slippers really, and I was out raking, and I think that's when my ear infection flared up. But finally I realized I'd have to do something, and this is my second adjustment, and I do believe he's going to be able to help me. But he does much more thorough than what Dr. Coder did in Lancaster. So I'm glad we have a good doctor here in Greenville, and I think I'll be feeling better again in a day or two.
Didn't have a great deal more to say. I don't know, there's a little bit more tape on here, and I got back to the office after picking her up at the doctor's office, and now it's about 2:45 in the afternoon. Another fellow was going out toward the house, so they took her out, and I didn't have to run back home again. So I had some things to do in Anderson, which is about 30 miles west of Greenville. I'd take a calculator over to show a man, and had to deliver back on a customer's cash register in Anderson. So I wanted to try to get away as soon as I could, and I had some other things to be doing, so I didn't get a chance to talk with you on the way going over to Anderson. But I'm just coming back into Greenville now. It's about 20 minutes to 3 in the afternoon, and it's still getting awfully cloudy, but it hasn't rained at all. In fact, it did rain too, come to think of it. It rained just a little bit around the time that I left for Anderson, which was about 12:30. But if I let things pile up, if I don't keep these details taken care of, in between, well, I almost forgot, I had to take a cash rest over to what we call Southside Christian Day School. I had a loaner over there and had their cash register in for repair, and I took it over there before I went to Anderson. And but it seems day by day, if I don't keep each one of these things cleared up each day, why then we're constantly they pile up, and then we just never stay behind. And I just sort of frustrating when things pile up and don't know which way to go or what to do. So we try to keep them cleared up the best way we can. We had a service call right before I went to Anderson, and my serviceman went out to the Belk store to work on it. But I'm getting pretty close back down to the office right now. In fact, I'm on the viaduct underpass now. I'm going back up off of it and heading over toward Main Street, which is where the office is. So I'm going to have to stop talking again, and maybe we can finish this up. I see there's just a little bit more tape on here, and we'll have a few more things. I'd like to try to get it finished up so we can mail it tomorrow morning when I come back in to go to the office and go to the post office. That way, if it gets off Thursday morning, you should have it, I hope, by Saturday for Easter. So, by the way, if I forget to wish you a happy Easter, why, I want to do that right now, and do hope that you have a good Easter. And we've got a lot to be thankful for, and I'm sure you folks do too. We think of you an awful lot, and wish that we could visit a little more often, but we just a lot of times don't get an opportunity to. Well, I'm coming right up now on Main Street, and I'm going to have to stop, and I'll pick up again when I get back in the car. Well, I see I still have a little bit more in the tape, and it's about 4:30, and I got back to the office when I got in from Anderson, and we're installing an electronic cash register tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, and we found that we had a little circuit unit burn out on it. Just now I'm pulling out of Dixie radio. I had to come up to Dixie radio to get this little electronic circuitry. And so I'm going back. It did shower just a little bit, but it hasn't rained very much. It's awfully cloudy and looks like we're going to have some wind or storm or something. It's extremely heavy clouds, sort of unusual in our section of the country. But we had just a little shower about a half an hour ago. Now I've got to run back to the office with this little electronic part, and I just had a fellow in the office that I was talking with about a cash register, and I'll possibly be able to get his sold, I hope. It's quite time consuming on some of these deals, and then if you don't get them, why, of course, you put your time in on it, but you never know. That's part of the game, I guess. And we never get as many as we'd feel we'd like to get, but still a little bit of room on this tape, so I'm going to try to get it filled up. Just hoping maybe Teddy could have talked with you a little bit, but he works at the hospital and he won't be home tonight. He goes to work at 4 o'clock and works there at night, so he's not going to be home, so we'll have to omit having him talk on it, I guess, this time. Well, I'm in front of the office now, so I'm going to be getting out of the car again, and then I'll try to finish up the tape on the way home. When I leave the office, it's now about 25 minutes to 5 on Wednesday evening. So I'll turn off right now, and we'll see you. Well, I'm back in the car on the way delivering a cash register now, and it's almost 4:45. I had one sold to a sporting goods store, and we had to order some parts, and it took a long time for the parts to come in, but they finally come in, and I just called the man, and he said, it's all right, he's ready to have it delivered, so I'm going to deliver it to you this evening. And so I'm going right straight up Main Street. I don't know quite how much tape is on this. There's not very much left anymore, so it's going to stop very shortly. So if it stops and I don't have a chance to say goodbye, why, I've enjoyed this chat, and again, I do hope that it won't be too boring to you, and you can listen to it at different times. You don't have to listen to it all at one time. But I'll talk a little bit more while I'm going out, just to finish filling up the tape. I hope that it gets to you all right. The place where I'm delivering this machine, I'm getting ready to turn it out off of Main Street, but it's actually in the direction of our home, so I won't be, this way I can deliver it on the way home without making a special trip. And so I'll be